All right, I think the camera's gonna stay there. What is good? I'm here to talk to you and teach you guys, I guess I'm teaching stuff nowadays. Teach you guys how to catch the biggest bass of your life this spring. I know I sound like tactical bassing. Well, unfortunately, I kind of learned this technique from them. Not unfortunately, whatever, if you like them, that's your thing. I kind of think they're like a corporate shill a little bit. It's weird. They are clearly like Shimano Pro staff and they're kind of sketchy about it. I don't appreciate it. Just tell me, Shimano pays you, I get it. Your braid of choice is Power Pro and all your reels are Shimano? Okay, you're a Shimano guy. Anyways, that's a random tangent. Today we're gonna be talking about bottom hopping a lipless, dragging a trap, fishing a lipless like a jig, whatever you wanna call it. I hope and also don't hope that a bunch of guys in my area watch this. I've talked to a bunch of my buddies who are absolute sticks about this technique, and they've always said like, I just don't know if that really would work here. We don't have a bunch of grass. We don't have flats that the fish move up on really. They're kind of transition on these weird steep banks because we fish highland reservoirs. You can't throw that around rock. You're not gonna fish a jig or fish a trap like a jig around a bunch of rocks. Well, I'm here to tell you that do it. You're gonna lose some money, but it's 100% worth it. I mean, just this week alone, I've caught an almost 8-pounder and an almost 7-pounder on a little tiny lipless. I'm a swim baiter. I have always thought the best way to catch giant fish is on a swim bait. I love throwing glides, love throwing big softies, like that's my bread and butter. But in the past couple springs, this has completely taken over for me. If you gave me one bait to fish anywhere that has water above 40 degrees, and you say, go catch the biggest fish you can, it's gonna be this. Maybe a blade bait too, if it's like really cold, but it's the same idea. There's something special about this. It's the way to go. I'm gonna break this down real quick, kind of try and keep the video short. First, I'm gonna flex on y'all. Let's show the fish picture of the big one right here. But I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna tell you the 2 baits in specifically the 2 colors I recommend. And then I'm gonna break down the rod, reel, line, and how I'm gonna transition that throughout the season as the grass grows up more. And I'm gonna tell you what you should do, in my opinion, with your treble hooks. Treble hooks and rods and reels are very personal. I'm gonna tell you what works for me. So, talk about baits first. As you can probably tell, at least this year, this little guy has been my go-to. This is the Jackal TN60. I also throw its big brother, the TN70, quite a bit. And the TN70's always been my starting point. This year, for some reason, they've just been chewing the crap out of this TN60. But the TN70 is generally my starting point. This year it's been the TN60. And then the other one I rotate in quite a bit is the Lucky Craft LV500. I keep it pretty simple on colors. I'm gonna throw a bright red craw color. I'm gonna throw like a ghost minnow-ish color, specifically the ghost minnow. This isn't ghost minnow. Specifically ghost minnow in the LV500 and like SG threadfin in the Jackal. This one here is just super sexy. I haven't thrown it yet. It's not really showing up well, but it's I think it's like the gizzard or threadfin color that the hookup tackle did with Lucky Craft. But those are the baits. Those are the only ones I've found that do it as well as these ones, so why throw the others? The reason though, in case you want to try something different, maybe you've got a lipless that eat really good on your lake or whatever. If it's small for its weight and is very loud, it will work, I'm assuming. these baits, they're so loud. Like, just use this one here, got a hook in my finger. Very loud. And it's just a regular size lipless. It's no bigger than most 1/2 ounce lipless, but it weighs 3/4. The TN70, same size as your regular 1/2 ounce lipless, super heavy. It weighs 5/8 of an ounce, I believe, and it's super loud. The TN60, it's like a little dude. It's like 2.3 inches or something, smaller than your Kitex that you're throwing, and it weighs 1/2 ounce. It's just almost exact same size as like a like the small Raid Level Vibe, or like a 1/4 ounce Cotton Cordell Super Spot. Okay, sorry, I blanked there for a second about what I was supposed to talk about next. Rod, reel, line. This doesn't have to be brand and model specific, but this is the one I've been throwing it on this year, and I've lost, I think, 1 fish. So, I'm gonna talk about trebles with each rod I talk about, and the line I talk about. This rod here is a Shimano Intenza 7-foot medium glass. I'm running 12-pound Invisex. I like the stretch on this. Don't like it on most techniques. I do on this one. And I'm throwing just a regular old SLX XT. This is easily top 2 or 3 cheapest rods I own, and I love it. This is the old model Intenza. If you're looking for a great budget cranking rod, this is it. You might be kind of confused here. Why am I throwing a glass rod if I'm fishing it like a jig? That's because, one, I'm throwing little treble hooks and I'm catching big fish. I want that forgivingness of the glass, and the way they're eating this bait is so aggressive and violent that you have no problem feeling it on glass. Like, you feel a thump on a glass rod. It's pretty crazy. The other rod I will switch to when the grass, this is like my earlier season. It does most of the work. But when the grass grows up too thick, I do switch rods to a rod I don't have on me right now. I switched to a graphite 7.2 medium heavy kind of mod fast rod. The one I use is a Evergreen Combat Sticks 7.2 medium heavy moving versatile. I forgot to mention, on this medium glass rod, I'm throwing the G Finesse treble hooks. Just match the size to the bait. I guess I could tell you. On this guy, the little TN60, I'm throwing size 5, I believe, maybe size 6. And I don't think I'm throwing size 2. I've so many of these baits, and I haven't changed the trebles in a while, because usually the way you're fishing this, if you're not fishing it just in grass, you're probably going to break it off before you need to change your trebles. I think it's size 4 G Finesse on the LVs and the bigger TN70. But I could be wrong. It might be size 2, but I don't think it's size 2. But when I switch over to that combat stick, and this is a shorter bite for me because we just don't have that much grass, and it's pretty much summertime by the time we get our grass, I'm throwing Owner ST56s with that stiffer rod. It's just a thicker hook, and I think it does better. Obviously, that makes sense. But the thing I really need to stress is, like, I know some dudes who are absolute hammers who have never even considered throwing this, because where I'm at, we fish mostly, like, our big lakes. Our 3 big lakes are like Truman, Table Rock, Lake of the Ozarks. Like, those are our big lakes, and then we've got some smaller lakes, like my favorite lake, Stockton and Pomme de Terre. They're majority like highland reservoirs that are super steep banks, very rocky, and dudes are thinking, well, I don't have the grass flats and the shallow flats and all this, that Fish are going to move up on to fish this technique. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it in those spots. You need to do it wherever you're catching fish, because you will upsize your bite. I think it's the loudness and the way these baits crash to the bottom. It just drives big fish insane. So please do me and yourself a favor and throw this bait no matter where you're fishing, or throw these baits in this way wherever you're fishing. I love chucking and winding in a trap too, but if I'm trying to get big bites, this is the way I'm doing it. I appreciate y'all watching. Tell every single person you know about this video. I'll see y'all. Peace.